Okay, so we're back here. For last video, we went ahead and did some warm-up stuff by debugging one of the commission mods I had and getting it cleaned up for the client to kind of work on. I still got more work to do on that mod, but for this video, we're actually going to focus back on doing ICBM and everything else. So I'm going to go load the light client, and then what I'm going to do is we're going to really quickly just brush over ICBM, and then we're going to attack the problems that we already know about. So we'll get those cleared out first, and we'll document any problems that we find along the way. But the main goal today is to fix up some server-side issues and try to get the mod functional and stuff. Might make a swing at setting up a server here sometime later this week or next week for people to log into and toy around with the mod. We may use the Volt server for that one. Volt server's pretty much been unused for quite a while. Let me go ahead and open up the issue tracker. So if we drag the issue tracker over here and ignore the fact I'm uploading a YouTube video, that's going to take a while. That last video we did was actually quite sizable because we kept testing in real time. So we got some issues reported by Lim here. We got a radar problem. So let's see. Okay, that's the wrong repository. I'd say we don't have radar in here. We do have some minor problems, microwave blast update blocks. I think this one's actually been fixed. We're going to test this one real quick. So the plan is to go through and target all of the primary issues here. So that's an OC problem. We'll work on that here in a bit. We got a few like weird things here. Yeah, we got quite a few request things. Probably not going to do any of the feature requests today. And just close that issue. That was somebody asking if they could help out, but then they didn't end up really doing anything. Support for MFFS isn't quite implemented yet. Multi-block, this is actually a multi-block problem in Volt's engine. We'll fix that today while we're at it. And client's still loading. We do have a usability problem that we probably should hit up on today. This is one that needs to kind of be corrected sooner than later. To be honest, we haven't had. I keep telling people to come here and report issues to this, but the fact is, it's like almost nobody's actually putting anything in here. So I know there are more bugs that are just flat out not listed. Okay, so first thing first is we're going to test the microwave missile because I want to just get that one knocked off because that's a real easy one to look at. I just want to see if it still is a problem. This isn't really ordered correctly. Okay, there's a microwave one. There we go. Okay, so this one we can just walk over here and shoot some water with it and just test it real quick. Not too difficult to do. Really simple, really quick. Can be a bug we can knock off. And I didn't launch this through Steam today, so I don't got that FPS counter in the corner. Had to reinstall IntelliJ and it broke my Steam launch. That's working, not too bad. Setting stuff on fire, counting some blocks off. Still a bit slow on the update path here. What I probably should do is reprogram the blast here to prioritize pathing water. Okay, because if we can get to prioritize water, it'll kill off the water quicker. Even though this is an AoE radius-based system, it's just a little slow on the pathfinding behavior. And I gotta work on that. There's a potential possibility that I may start catching some additional data about worlds, because we're doing all that map data anyways. So we're doing things like we're tracking heat values, we're tracking wind direction, we're tracking different things. What I might start doing is tracking fluids, where they're at, because the microwave missile really only affects organic and fluid things. It doesn't give a crap about sand. I might turn dirt into sand if it hits it, though. That's something I might do. I might turn clay into rock or something. Because what the microwave missile is, it's literally working like your microwave oven in your house. The only difference is it's really, really intense, and it's evaporating water. And I still got to do steam particle effects. You'll see steam fly up in the air when this does it. But that issue that it was reported is actually not a problem anymore. So this was having issues where it was not updating blocks. I can go ahead and close that. So that's not an issue anymore. Exothermic not replacing snow, so we'll go ahead and take a look at that one. Means we need an endothermic. Now, I might know that some of these issues were reported by me, so it's a little weird to kind of have to fix my own bug reports that I barely remember even making. And this will try to fill up that water, by the way. I can't tell if that went off or if that microwave blast is still going off. You know what? I'm probably going to reduce the radius on the microwave blast because look how much water it killed off with just that small little missile. Size is a bit high. Yeah, we're running into a problem where the last thread is still running and the thread system isn't functional. Why is that? What is that current radius at right now? I need to make a command to kill off ICBM explosive threads running. Because we're dealing with something that's just got such a huge radius on it. Oh, what's down here? Oh, there's a cave down here. That's cool. More likely what I need to do with these, I need to make these energy based so that way they dampen out really quickly. So that way if they vaporize a whole bunch of water, they just run out. Because most people think microwaves are these magical devices that can heat an infinite amount of water. The reality of it is the more stuff you stick in your microwave, the more work it has to do to function. As what it's doing is it's transmitting energy via microwaves. As microwaves are then being absorbed by the water in order to heat the water or energize the electrons, which then heat the water or something like that. It's been a while since I've studied that stuff. I don't know what this is doing, but it's clearly hit its max range and it's still ticking. Okay, actually it looks like it just finished. Maybe no, it's still running. I don't know if I want to actually sit there and fix that. Because what I really need to do with it is I kind of need to make it so that way if it passes through more than a couple solid blocks, it just stops pathing. So that way if it hits sand, it doesn't keep pathfinding through the sand because the sand would absorb the microwave. It actually would just disrupt it. That's the reason why you want to use certain type of containers when microwaving things. This would kind of weaken its overall effect, but it would definitely speed this thing up. The other option I can do is I can remove the idle of a Pathfinder altogether, and I could just do a ball-shaped iterator, which would run way faster than this, but then it doesn't give me any possibility to block the microwave. So you can't use a force field to block it; it just would go through regardless. We definitely don't want to do that because that would hinder any defensive capability. But maybe we can implement both. We can leave the Pathfinder, and then what we can do is go, okay, is there a force field within radius? And then it'll go yes, and then it just doesn't use the El Cheapo. Oh, it looks like there was some squid around here. Another cave down there. It's not running yet. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to make a really intelligent Pathfinder for this. It's the only thing I could think of right now. Need something like an A star. Something that would prioritize path. What we're going to do to just kind of speed up time here is I'm going to kill the client. Or actually, I'm just going to do that and it will flood. Yeah, there we go. So it finished running that thread. There is some kind of defect going on with the thread system because if you notice it doesn't kill right away. So now we got the kill thread running right here. And it finally finished off killing that thread, but it finished running and it ran for quite a while, as you can see. So many 0 chunk runs. And here we go, complete stop on the server happened here several seconds ago. And it's still running, which tells me there is a defect that's in that thread pretty bad. Because what should happen is right here, all threads should be killed, and they should be dead. And it does confirm that I think it was thread 5 is what we're running right now, actually did kill properly. So if you go down here, killing thread, yeah, worker thread, now that's for worker thread 0. What's also even weird is that we have 6 threads to play with, yet you saw the ender explosion was not threading. It was waiting for the other thread to finish, and that shouldn't happen. It also means that this guy never triggered, which wasted that explosion. So there's a few things that actually do have to be fixed here. We'll run this guy again. Now this guy should thread and finish almost immediately. See, he's done because he has a very limited pathfinder. The microwave and EMP and heat ones are the problem spots because they take forever to finish pathfinding. Also, you looking at that weird. This is another thing. This is actually the reason that bug was reported in the first place is we had weird problems like this happen, and these need to be fixed. Because if you just do this real quick to him, yeah, if you trigger him update, then all of a sudden they'll start flowing again. Yeah, there we go. And that'll flow, and that'll connect to the other water, and then it'll fill it back in. We got snow here. Okay, so this will give us our test bed now. So we want to then dump an exothermic, and the exothermics, I believe, are at the bottom. Are they? No, they're right there. I'm going to have to work on sorting the missiles so that they show up better. Okay, so yeah, it is right. It isn't replacing snow. It is replaceable check failure, and we can fix that. The microwave one is something I'm going to have to fix later. Actually, we'll make an issue for this. Microwave, EMP, and thermal blasts. And let me add some labels to this. So this will be, I'm actually going to label as a bug, and then I'm going to label it as, and we should have a high priority in here somewhere. Yeah, they're high priority, it's just not collared the way I expect it to be. What are projects? You know, projects are this new thing that they added here. How do you create a project? Do this conversion to JSON. Convert existing code base to JSON. Say project. Oh, that's cool. Do this content left to convert. Play around with this really quick because this is kind of interesting. How do we add issues to this? Add card. Okay. So that's cool. And what we could do is I'll end up filling this in later, and I'll put a whole bunch of things in that. I'll play with that. I'll see if that's even usable. Yeah, that's cool. So we got that up on there, so we'll rewrite those later. And what we're gonna do right now is we're just gonna toy with the. See, we just dropped an exothermic. Actually, you know what's wrong with the exothermic is I mean, we could do it as a replaceable check, but it doesn't have a converter for snow. That's actually what's missing there. It's a lot of just conversions. But we'll go in here and we'll actually toy with the blast anyways. And let me go while I'm at it. Let's test a couple other ones here. So we've got flash fire. Let's see if flash fire replaces. Okay, flash fire works perfectly fine, which tells me that it's not a bug with the... Okay, so that means all the fire ones probably work just fine. So this one's going to be with the temperature one. It's going to be exothermic. And where here's where the problem is. So we're going to go, instead of error block, we're going to go is replaceable world. And that actually will fix it. But we do need to add data because data would actually determine that this is functional the way we want it to function. But if we fire this again, there we go. That's fixed. I can close that issue off. Actually, I'm going to close that issue off properly too while I'm at it. So the ICBM here. When I'm talking about properly, you go like this, and we go, okay, what issue was the exothermic here? Exothermic not replacing snow, and that's issue 284. Fixed 284. And if we hit commit, and then we hit push, then this will close itself. See how cool that is? Not only does I close that, I can click that commit message there, and I can see exactly what I fixed. So that's literally a one-line fix is what that was, which I've told a couple people that's what's wrong with it before. Ender block should turn snow to particles. That is something that does need to be fixed. Really what ender block should run is a can stay check real quick. And endothermic is not turning water to ice. Okay, that's a new one we can test. No, it isn't. Huh. That's actually a bug. So go over here. Block equals snow. We do have an is replaceable check. That's what's happening with the water. It's turning into snow because of replacement checks. We're missing data for it. Do I even want to put data in there for that? Get cool result. We'll do both. I'm just going to really quickly do this, and I'm just going to cheat, and I'm going to go, okay, if block equals blocks dot water, then we want to turn it to ice. I do need to make a separate version for flowing water. That is something that probably needs to be done. But really quickly, we're just going to do this. And I believe you set it to 0, and I believe it is block stop water. And then what does it fall? So dewdrops, check equality, and we need to do edit dot set update or dot update. There is totally a method for this, and I'm trying to figure out where it's at. What I'm looking for is, yeah, here, set notification label to 2. I don't want it to update blocks around it when it gets set. Yeah, that'll work. We do need to do a secondary system for a lot of these thermal ones, so that way it will actually attempt to run notification updates afterwards. Oh, you know what we just did? We just turned partial water blocks into full water blocks. Yeah, we need to turn this to ice. And I'd make a to-do mark here. To-do turn flowing water into ice slabs matching meta value. Redo this. Actually, I need to hit reload on this, so it'll turn to ice. There we go. So that's a temp fix. This is not a perfect fix for that, but it is a temporary fix. The proper fix is I would actually have to go mess with the cool results here, which is done in the engine. Although my note, like I've said before, I need to actually make a JSON system for the engine so that way we could add support for everything, including mods. So I can go through and go, okay, this guy's modded content should turn into a block of molten iron if it gets hit by a thermal blast. That is something that does need to be handled. It is something that's not handled yet. Machines need to be melt, cables need to melt, catch on fire. The thermal blasts are actually supposed to be some of the more effective blasts in the game, but they are magic based at the moment, so they do need to be balanced pretty badly. I believe all the results are set down here somewhere. Oh no, actually they are set into the thermal system. So let me go to the thermal system real quick. Yeah, they're set up here. These are the materials. It's the initialization that is actually where a lot of the stuff is set at the moment. Block.ice needs to turn into, actually we already have that there. Blocks.water needs to turn into ice. And this needs to be add new coal. There's seriously not a method for this? Okay, so we're gonna have to restart real quick. Heat conversions, there's seriously not a cool conversion? So what we need to do is copy this method. This down here, add new cooling conversion. Should be cool down conversion is what this is called. Yeah, there we go. Cool tab. There we go. Put that down here. Put that there. Heat up registry block conversion 2 is being replaced by. I don't even need to change that. That's good. And then we just need to add our little helper methods here, which are these two guys. Here we go. That'll save me a little bit of time on registering these. And all I have to do is come down here and go cooling conversion. I haven't spent a huge amount of time. That's the reason why I said I need to actually spend some time working on this. And then I need to get the conversion of, I want to say it's 275 if I did the math right in my head. But we're going to open this up and we're going to go C to K. 230, okay, I was close. And then of course this has to be rounded because we're using whole numbers for temperature. Now I might note the temperatures are all, we're doing temperature values right now for the conversions. It is going to be heat based later, which means it would have to suck out probably 2.3 million joules of energy out of that block of water to turn it to ice. That's going to be, I don't know what difficulty to do properly. Additionally, I need to add a few more conversions up here. By the way, that dirt conversion is made up. That's the reason why it's got a made up thing next to it. This would be vanilla block handling, heat values, cool values. This would be heating values and cooling values. And then I'm going to do some other stuff real quick to this to make this easier to separate out what each section is. And these should run through the config actually, I believe. I think you can configure these. But we want to add lava to this, so we would go blocks.lava, and this needs to go to blocks.obsidian. And its cooling point is actually 600, I think. Made up value. Because the cooling point of stone is going to be anything below the melting point pretty much. So the melting point, which is this actually, we're going to want to actually throw this in here. This would just be like a couple values below. That way you don't get an instantaneous conversion between the two. There's actually not a lot of other stuff in Minecraft that needs to be cooled down. Everything else is going to be secondary handling. Like if I hit an entity with a cooling effect, he's going to turn to an ice cube. That's something I haven't implemented yet, but we'll go ahead and test this. And then I can close this issue. So this will be issue 282. Stage all, fixed, number 282. Commit, and pushed. Get all these knocked out. We're probably just going to spend like the next week just knocking out issues on ICBM and finishing up content. So we're probably going to do this usability here next. I don't see any more bug reports for Blast, although we do have a couple pages here. A lot of these are suggestions. Like if we actually scroll back here, energy consumption needs to be added. Implement missile riding. Okay, yeah, that's additional damage if it explodes in water. So if you're standing in a water puddle and you get hit by a concussion wave through water, it actually will kill you. Versus air burst. Like air burst versus water burst. Water burst is more lethal because the energy can travel quicker. Although I think it runs out of energy faster though, so the radius gets dampened. Oh man, there's so many suggestions in here. So let's go back through, and rendering failure in tall grass and fire. That's actually something we probably could fix today. This one's actually pretty simple to fix. I gotta add support for flans eventually. Additional implementations. Any eye still needs to be added. We're not going to get to that anytime soon. I think I already implemented that actually. I'll have to check that later. Still need to implement vertex object buffers to improve the render rates of missiles. We needed recipes. Yeah, we still haven't finished recipes. Missile fuel is something that still needs to be done. Missing names. This has actually already been fixed. Okay. We're pretty good. Majority of these are suggestions for enhancements, and very few of these are bugs. Things are bugs like particle effects and AMS turret. Actually, I'm going to close this issue because that doesn't even relate to this mod anymore. I removed the AMS turret out of that mod. Icons and items. Yeah, we might fix that here in a bit. Okay, so we're loaded again. Now, what I'm going to do real quick before we even can test that is I actually need to remove this whole section. Reload. I'm going to put it back in there for legacy reasons because it actually will work really well. But VoltSynja just implemented the changes for that, and I want to make sure they're working. So we'll test that. Then we're going to do some texture fixes real quick. Yep, that worked. There looks like there's some identification problems with a few of these spots here. That's okay. It's probably having trouble identifying flowing water versus stationary water. What happened there? The missile ID just failed to place, and we just got a weird. We got the old classic texture. The ICBM still has the old missile in it for legacy reasons, and we use it as a bug indicator. But this is working out pretty good. We're just having problems with snow, whatever's going on here. You are there. You're just broken. Okay. Man, that's some deep dice. It's cool though. Okay, that missile was stuck in the ice somewhere. That's the reason why it looks the way it does. Which means, okay, you're right there, so you were on top of the ice. This means you are stuck in the ice. Yeah, you're stuck right there. And you actually were above the ice, okay. That's a little bit of debug information to get. I can figure out what's wrong with that later. So we have fixed that, so that's really good. And that gets a nice effect, like ice is completely frozen deep down in there too. I like that. And we got that. This is a rendering bug, by the way. I'm betting anything the data actually is encoded. I'll have to test it more. It's not too much of a concern. Is I gotta recode the whole drop missile effect. Like there are a lot of small little bugs with them, but that's good. So we got that tested. So I'm gonna re-add that information back because we know it works. And we're gonna move on to textures for the eggs and stuff. I think. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do it. It's not something that is really high priority, but it does need to be handled. So how you do the blast for the client side stuff is you basically have to create a client side system for. Actually, we don't need that one. We need these guys. These guys actually just do display effects. We don't need a display effect for. We kind of do need one for the spawners, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. That is definitely extra work that we do later. Let's just copy any one of these guys. So we're going to go EC, and I believe it's just called spawn. Is what the missile's called. Let me go find it in the client proxy. So there's a list of stuff that still needs textures, and one of them should be the egg missile. Entity spawn, explosive handler spawn. And it needs a texture. And it needs renamed too. This needs to be EH or EX. It says entity spawn missile, and yeah, we just got to throw some textures on here. So what you're going to come over here is we just have to extend the system. And we're going to have two textures. And what we're going to do is we're just going to colorize them. So we're going to have the icon, and then we're going to have the secondary icon. Just icon underscore 2. We need to register the icons. And then we need to return the icons. Get bottom left corner icon. Hit yes. I gotta figure out where this is called from. Block warhead. Pass. Where are you called from? I hate when we don't get a lot of information. Because it's like, hey, you require multiple render passes, you don't get any data here. And then it goes like, how many render passes you do, and then ask on the metadata. So we need more render passes. So this is where I really need to separate out the entity explosives from the rest of the items, but I can't. Because this is actually, we're looking at render code used by a lot of different things. How best to handle this? There really is no easy way to do this. We'll just go int pass real quick. Right. Things are being annoying now. See, I get these little markers on the side here. They're supposed to show me where errors are, and you can't click them. They're freaking broken. So I get for updating to the latest version here. Alright, so we got passes in here. So we get the item, iExplosive handler, iTextured handler. We then want to go to the API for iTextured handler. And then what we want to do is we're going to get the corner and we want to pass in the passes here. And then for legacy reasons, we need to grab this and we need to bring it down here. and then we want to go like this, remove this part, change this to default, return null, and then we want to change this to also default. And we want to return get bottom corner icon stack, and then you just ignore the pass. This will make sure that any of the older blast code works just fine. This means I will have to update the API, but it means I will get access to the pass on the render here. Get rid of this over here, so get int pass. We're going to need some kind of way to track the maximum number of passes we have. This is where I kind of need to code a handler for this, and this is something I do need to get out of the way eventually, of where instead of relying on certain things to render themselves, we could create a handler that then does most of this rendering for us. Now let me go find the warhead again. Item block warhead. Because we're going to need to know the number of passes. And let's just do it here. So public static final render passes for item equals 3. Right now we only need 3. I forgot int here. And then we'll just go explosive client system whatever dot render passes. We're going to have to do this in every single spot. We actually have one right now. I believe it's only the warhead and the missile are the only 2 spots that this is required. And then we're going to have to code a handler for this. The cool thing about the handler is what we'll do is you'll pass in the item you want to render. It'll run normal Minecraft render code, but instead of doing this stupid render pass system, which Minecraft has built into it, it will give us access directly to this data, so then we can go, okay, how many render passes do you need for this specific explosive? Instead of running like, say, 10 passes where half of them are empty, we can run a variety of different passes here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go pass is greater than 0. We want to do that. We want to get the icon. Go icon equals this. And we go, okay, if icon equals null, then you want to return a blank icon. There is a way to do this. Right now, I think I'm just going to register a blank icon somewhere, and I'm just going to register it per system here. So we're going to grab this, put this here, and we're going to go empty icon is what we're actually going to call it. And then I'm going to go check the ICBM folder to see if I have an empty icon. So voltsengine 17 ICBM source main resources assets ICBM textures items, and we should have one in here because I do recall using it a few times. You know what actually might be in voltsengine? Voltsengine source main resources, and of course my dog is going to bug me in the middle of making a video here. Come on, Tess, can you chill for a couple minutes? I'm almost done. Yeah, I will have to end this here quickly as I think my dog wants to go for a walk, and if I ignore her, she will just decide to take revenge out on me. I'm surprised I don't have a blank icon anywhere. Let me just type in blank, and maybe it's in here. There's a blank for an explosive, but that's not what I want. We're just going to create one real quick. Rename blank. Then edit. Actually, we won't edit this in GIMP. Open with GIMP GUI image manipulator. I'm surprised Minecraft doesn't have something built in for this, or Forge hasn't built this in yet, just a blank icon, because you would think that there are uses for where a blank icon is useful. And then go ahead and do that. Hit File. export as, blank icon, override, replace, export. And then what we can do with this, by the way, even though I put this in VoltEngine, even though it wasn't there originally. By the way, did I mention that Microsoft doesn't like blank icons? So therefore we got, I don't know what that is. That looks like one of the earlier gear textures or something. But yeah, so we got that now, so it's a blank icon. And then what we just want to do is, instead of using the prefix here, we're going to go references dot domain, actually prefix plus blank. That way we're using the existing texture inside of VoltEngine, so we don't have to make a new one every time we want to do a blank icon. We don't have to store it repeatedly. Do empty icon there. So we now have it registered. And we come down here and we want to return empty icon. So if we ever get a null return on in a render pass, we just use the blank icon. Now we're going to recycle this piece here over to the block warhead. Put that right there. Actually, want to return empty icon. I just screwed that up. Taz, please no. My dog doesn't understand the concept of I'm busy, and I hate to say it that way, but she's been let out repeatedly today, and she's taking full advantage knowing that I don't have anything important to do, and is wanting to whine at me to let her outside again, so that she can go lay in the grass, even though I've been trying to not let her do that, because that's how she got fleas in the first place. Okay, anyways, I got empty icon there. Go ahead and grab this, take this over here, and I'm amazed there's no icons registered. That's right, I think, are we using 3D? No, we're not using 3D model. Oh, because the warhead casings themselves are storing the icons. Okay, cool. Item missile. So we want to come down and we want to grab this registry point. Dump this here. And then we want to come down to wherever our render code is, and I probably passed it already. Right here, we want to return empty icon, and then we want to return icon if it's not null. Now we need to test this, and then as soon as we're done with this, I'm going to close this video out and go walk my dog, and hopefully I can make another video today. I don't think it's going to be possible though, as I do have a few things I need to go do business related before I start another video up, and something tells me it's going to take the rest of the day to do. Not including the fact I still got to read those books I'm neglecting to read. I know one way to make it where I can do these videos a little bit longer. Bribe my dog with a dog snack, and then she's all happy. Yeah, she just took her snack and then went and hid underneath the covers on my bed. I wouldn't be surprised if that's actually what she wants anyways, because usually most of the time she'll act like she wants to go for a walk, and then I'll go all the way up to the door, and instead of going to the door, she'll go to the cupboard where she knows where the food is, and then she'll scratch at that and be like, I want food, and I'd be like, but I've already fed you. And she'll keep this up for hours. The unfortunate thing is, like, when my mom's here, if the dog does that, my mom will always feed the dog. And she's developed that bad habit because of it. Not too bad, though. At least my dog hasn't developed other habits like knocking stuff off, knocking furniture over, tearing up the trash cans, or attacking the walls. I know some people's pets that will dig through walls occasionally. Then again, this dog has done that before. We lived over in a house in a town a couple towns over, and we left our dogs locked up in a room while we went out to go to the store, and she dug through 2 walls to get out of the room. Needless to say, that's where I learned how to patch drywall really well, as my dogs used to actually damage up walls and stuff. But I don't kind of blame them. when I was living with my dad, and my dad didn't quite treat the dogs well. Every time we left, he would lock them up in like a small room and stuff, and neither of the dogs I had liked to be locked up and left alone. Okay, so we were testing before I was waiting. Oh yeah, we want to test icons. I didn't register that icon system, so I just kind of wasted some time here, but we can see if it broke any of the other icons. It did not, because I was like, I'm looking here, I'm like, wait, we got like one up here. That's a radiation one that's not running. All the other icons look good. I do need to scale this one down a little bit. And what I'm going to do for the radiation one is I'm just going to grab this one up and I'm going to recolor it. And since I've got my dog bribed, I don't have to go take her for a walk right away. So we're going to go ahead and finish this video up, actually with stuff we wanted to do. So we want to go to the ICBM folder, and we're going to want to make some textures here. So we need some two textures for all of the egg ones, and then I'm going to have to figure out some way to do color schemes for them. And then we're going to do a radiation one, which is just going to be a green radiation symbol. And I think it's going to cover most of these. And I actually need to make this one disappear off the list, which is the, no, not yet, no, yes, that is one. Because that's an entity missile with no data, and that one needs to not be on the list. So we need to fix that. I can actually fix that one pretty quick. That one should be around here somewhere. Should be like sub-item list here somewhere. Sub-items, add information, get model, get modulars, added explosive data. Huh. It's probably in the tile class. That's the reason I can't find it. Whole bunch of messed up stuff right there I need to fix. Yeah, here we go. So right now what this is doing is this is going through and iterating over all the explosives, and it's getting all the warhead. Actually, you know what? Let's take a look at the warhead casings and see if they have the same problem. Probably the next tab. Are we getting a double up on the empty? Yeah, we are. So that's I think that's actually handled by the explosives themselves. So we already have EC spawn open, so we're going to jump over here. And I'm going to take a look at this. Does this actually... We get our blast class, we get our set, get IDs. I'm not seeing a handler for this. What am I missing here? It's handled by the explosive items. That's why reason I'm not seeing what I'm looking for. This is where I badly need notes on my own work, and I haven't been doing a good job on that. So go ahead and explosive items, and down here should be a sub list of all items. Now here we go. Entity eggs.iterator.value. And I think what we can simply do is we can go spawn entities, spawn. Okay, that's not it. That just took me to the wrong spot. Iterators.next. Set entity spawn ID. So what we want to go is if entity info doesn't equal null. That will help a little bit here. But what we want to do is we want to go, okay, if ex spawn dot get entity ID from the stack doesn't equal null or something. Actually, we can do it this way. Grab this. Spawn dot get entity, and we want to go doesn't equal null. Because that should tell me is if it can't find a string value for that ID, that ID doesn't exist. And that will prevent null from showing up on the list. Actually, I can reload this in real time, and then all we have to do is reopen the creative tab, and it should disappear. So reopen the creative tab, and let's go back to the missile tab, so it'll be a little easier to figure it out. And it's still there. Okay, so I didn't fix a damn thing. Okay. Why did that work? Yeah, I can't explain why that isn't doing what it's supposed to be doing. So I should be able to open that up, and I don't think I've got a catch system in place, but that might be the case, but oh well. Anyways, we need to go and get our textures going, since that's what I actually should have been doing this whole time. So source, main, resources, assets, ICBM, textures, items. So we need to create 2 textures. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to borrow, I'll borrow the region here. Open with GIMP. And then what did we name these? So we go over here. We have not named these yet. So we're going to go egg, and then egg2 is what we're going to call these. Egg.2, egg.1. So that'll be really simple. So then we can go file, then we want to go export as, or actually we want to go file, and we want to hit save as, and then that way I can keep these and I can toy around with them. Then we can just go egg for the save file, and then we would go file, export as, and then we do egg1 because that's what we're going to work on first. And then we're going to go to this corner icon here. So we want to know where that corner icon actually is, so we're not even going to rig rid of that. We're going to just do a new layer here. And we put that there, and then what we want to do is go, actually we're going to open another folder. I don't want to get rid of this one because we're going to put 2 more icons in here, at least. So we want to come back and go all the way to my dev folder, go to assets, and then we want to type an egg. So here's spawn eggs background, and there's spawn lake overlay. So we want both of these. Okay, so there's our spawn egg background. So we grab that, just want to move it so it lines up. Put this at the back. It looks like we didn't even need a new layer. We're just going to get rid of this. So delete layer. And we want to take this, put this above it. And we just want to move this right to the same spot. And if we get rid of the background, that looks pretty good if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to put a background behind this too. And the reason I'm going to do that is I'm going to really quickly delete it. And I'm going to put like a gray background behind it so it's a little easier to see these eggs. Yeah, that'll be fine. And then I'll just toy around with the eraser here in a second to make it look a little nicer. Do that, hard edge. And rough the corners off real quick. That way it looks like we've got some kind of capsule item going on. That'll be good. And then let's get a border on it. I'm still using the eraser there. Switch over. Lighten the border up a little bit here. And then do the other side. That way you got this distinct edging to it, so it looks a little nicer. And that should be fine. And we'll go ahead and save. And then we want to hide that first overlay. Actually, we want to hide this. We're going to go File, Export As. We're going to have 3 layers apparently now. Save, File, Export As, PNG. So this will be PNG 0. And then we'll get rid of that. We'll have this. And we'll hit File, Export As. This will be PNG 1. Then we hide that and show this File Export As. So what we did is we just created a layer system, and actually that'll hit File Export, and this will be PNG2. So we have 3 layers that are running on top of the normal background layer. So reality is that we have 4 layers. So I will have to update the layer constant. That would be Actually, I need to do a few things. So we got icon. We got icon 1. This would be _1. This would be just icon. This would be 0. And then we'll open up missile real quick because that's probably the quickest way I can get to it. Yep, right here we go. Render passes. And then we got 4. Okay, so that way people know that that's actually needs to always be 1. So if we're reality, we're using 3 layers for the explosives and then 1 layer for the missile base. I probably could fix that down in here so that way it's not as confusing. So we get these guys, and what we want to do is we need to do the pass. We actually do need to modify this a little bit. Okay, go up to here, grab this. Oh, come on, you stupid piece of system. It literally won't identify where this is coming from. So Control-Alt-F7. No usage found. I'm getting a little tired of IntelliJ not working for me anymore. It's being dumb. But what I wanted to do is I just wanted to do -1 on the pass. So go there, and then we want to go to the warhead and do the same thing. So we'll get icon, which is down here, and we'll put -1 on the pass. That way, when it's passing in, you're getting the number of passes that's been working so far. So this is going to be, we're going to do a switch statement based on the pass. Return icon, so we go case 0, icon, case 1, icon _1, and then case 2, icon _2, and then we're going to return null on any other case, so it uses the default blank, and then we want to return these. And then we just got to register this, and we're done. At least for this explosive. Now there is another system, by the way, I do have implemented to actually be doing this with for the simple explosives, but we're not using it at the moment. Okay, so this will just be EC spawn, and we're good there. And let me scroll down through here and make sure. Okay, so there's no other ones. Okay, there's one missing. To do add texture. Because that one's just using the base. Actually, this one might actually use the new system. I'll have to go check. So there's a new system I've got. Let me rephrase this. When by new, it's over a year old now. But there's a system that you can just register icons with, and it will use them. It's supposed to, at least. It's probably, I'll have to figure out where it's at. But it's meant to kind of more or less work out. So we need one for flash, radiation, Midas touch, which we're just going to use gold ore for Midas touch, by the way. And we did register that one, so let's just go ahead and check to make sure this one is actually going to work. We'll have to restart the game to get it. And we do need to do one more step that I almost forgot about. So when it comes to this, we need to get the collar for pass, which means I need to open up the missile item again, and my dog just remembered that she wanted to go for a walk again. So I'm going to toss her another dog snack and hopefully bribe her long enough that we can finish this video. I'm going to get called by a horrible person from somebody for doing this though. So get collar from item stack is what we want. So right now it defaults to a certain color. We want to allow this to be overridden, so we can actually colorize based on the entity. And this would be stack and then pass. Stack and then pass. And then we're gonna have to actually do some work here. So get icon system, and I'm just gonna copy this whole thing. Oh, by the way, here's the system I was talking about. It's just a little registry for getting icons. So we want to get collar for corner icon. So this will be an integer that needs to be passed back. And we do have a missing corner icon down there, so we probably didn't need to make one, but oh well. And then I need to go back to here, grab this collar so it defaults to that one. And then we want to just get a collar real quick out of these guys. So we're going to go return, and then we're going to get bottom left corner icon collar, and then we're going to pass an item and then pass. And we'll have to make this method so it's not in existence right now. And we'll put that into the same system we've got over here. And then of course we put out eyesight over it, even though we don't really care. We put a default so we don't have to update all of our things. And then we come over and we want to grab this default value, so we're going to return that as our default. And that way we don't have to implement this everything, but we are going to implement this into our spawn thing here. And we're going to do a switch statement like we did up here. Put an add override on this. And then do public. Now we only care about these two here, and we're going to need to get the entity ID, so int entity ID equals get for item. Then we want the egg info. How do we get that back out? EX spawn. So we get entity ID, set entity ID. We want egg info. And my dog has eaten her treat and it wants to go be taking a walk. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pause here, and I'll be back with another video here.